All right, welcome back to the post-game spread. I'm your host, as always. This is Blake Helm. Today we're going to have Colten Knoedler on the podcast, and it was really special. We sat down for about an hour and a half and talked. Colten being, the standout athlete that is coming up in the area, in the Springfield area. He was just named All-State as a quarterback, Big School Player of the Year, State Journal Register. Also a standout in baseball. He comes from this baseball family where his dad played pro baseball, his uncle played in the big leagues. He's incredibly mature, really has his stuff together. So I kind of wanted to go back and start. We've always talked to guys after their careers are over. I thought it would be cool to maybe start at the opposite end and see what is it like for someone really starting their journey. And his journey is really just starting now to really take off and see where they were at, see how they saw things, how they saw themselves and the future, and I thought it would be really cool. And I could not have been more impressed with Colten. He was just incredibly mature, poised, comes from a great family, no surprise there. But hope you guys enjoy this. The post-game spread is very special to me. It obviously started off from my own wild journey through baseball and surgeries and military and reality show and pro baseball and all this stuff, and it made me want to go back and hear what other people had to say about what they learned about themselves in life through baseball as well. I think it's the ultimate teacher. And so I'm really curious. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy Colten Knoedler here. This was an absolute treat for me. Have nothing but respect and love for the Knoedler family. Enjoy. We are also brought to you by BOS, Bank of Springfield, and Jason Knoedler. The Bank of Springfield has essentially a whole baseball team over there. I'm talking guys like Jason Knoedler, Justin Knoedler, Timmy Ballin Wallen, Eric Weaver, Ryan Murphy, Murph Mathiot, Frank Stefano, Greg Morantz. I trust every single one of these guys to handle my money and to steer me in the right direction financially. There are 3 locations across the greater Springfield area for your convenience. Bank boldly with BOS. We really appreciate you guys. This episode is being brought to you by Eric Easley of the Easley Real Estate Team with the Real Estate Group. This team consists of Eric, Jamie Murphy, and Caitlin Fry. They can be reached at 217-971-3256 or at theeasleysalesteam.com. Eric was a standout quarterback and shortstop at Southeast back in the mid-90s and later starred at Western Illinois in baseball. Also one of the best umpires around this area for many years, teaming up with Bobby Erickson. He sold houses for all kinds of baseball dudes in the area. The Knoedler brothers, Justin and Jason, Ryan Murphy, Todd Schneller, the Savota family, and when it was time for Corey to sell his house and buy his new house, there's only one place he went. That's Eric Easley and the Easley Real Estate Team. So go see these guys for all your real estate needs. We really appreciate you. We are also brought to you by Christ the King's Men's Club through my good buddy John Chisholm. We came up together playing baseball. We played for the Flame together, Springfield High, and then he went on to play at Spoon River for a little bit. They are selling bourbon raffle tickets right now for $100. You have a 1 in 10 chance to win. The raffle is being held on February the 22nd, 7 p.m. at the Crafted Stag. They have an absolute insane lineup of high-end bourbon for the winners. Contact my good buddy again, John Chisholm, at 217-725-8682 if you're interested. Please go and support these guys. We really appreciate you. Thanks, Christ the King Men's Club. We are also brought to you by Dayton Burnett Training, Dayton being the former Springfield High School, Illinois Wesleyan standout wide receiver, currently a strength and conditioning coach in the area, doing very big things with football players. He is the strength and conditioning coach to Colten Knoedler, the CSA Player of the Year, as well as many high school, college, and pro level guys in the area. I think Dayton is absolutely fantastic and innovative. Dayton specializes in sports performance training and has worked with hundreds of athletes in the local community. His passion in player development and ensuring the training you do in the offseason translates to improved performances in your prospective sport. If you want to check out some of his work, head on over to @Dayton_Burnett. That's DAYTON_BURNETT on Instagram and send any training inquiries directly to him. You will not regret it. Dayton is the absolute man. Go check him out. We appreciate you, Dayton. This episode is brought to you by Glisten Heating and Air. You can reach them at 217-341-3129 or visit glistenheatingandair.com. That's GLISSON. This is owned and operated by Gibbs Gleason himself, a member of the 2000 Pleasant Plains baseball team that were state champs. That's the Dusty Bensko era, former guest. This guy's in the baseball community. He helps coach his son, who's in the local travel scene. This truly is the pros pro for HVAC in the area. I mean, this is a who's who of former pros that have used him. Let's talk about Corey Erickson, Jason Worth, Ryan Murphy, Jason Knoedler, Justin Knoedler, Brad Owens, Greg Morantz, Jason Washam, Eric Easley. His reviews speak for themselves. Call Glisten Heating and Air. They care about your air. We appreciate you. We are also brought to you by the Office Sports Bar and Grill, located at 1919 West Isles Avenue. This is a really special place. I've been going there since probably 20 years, since I was in college. And there's just so much cool sports memorabilia, dating back through Springfield's history. All different high schools represented, pro guys, college guys. There's some great stuff on the walls. It's a great place to get together with friends, a great environment, inviting, warm, happy, lively. Great place for great conversation, great drinks, and great food. Please go see this place. Go patronize them. We really appreciate the support. The Office Sports Bar and Grill. We are also brought to you by Hammers Radon Mitigation Solutions. You can reach them at 217-670-4292, hammersradon@gmail.com, or head on over to their website, hammersradonmitigation.com. They do exactly what you need. This is everything radon that you can think of. This is Les Hammers. This is a Springfield firefighter, a former standout football player at Jacksonville, Truman State, and then played a little pro ball, a little arena ball himself. Since opening, Hammers Radon Mitigation Solutions have become masters of their craft. Their commitment to quality mitigation, exceptional services, and incomparable customer care keep our homeowners safe. They never stop improving and will continue to expand their offerings. Get in touch with Les today. You will not be disappointed. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks, Les. You ready, buddy?
I am.
All right, well, here we go, guys. We are back with another episode of the post-game spread. I'm sitting here with Colten Knoedler. I'm your host, as always, Blake Helm. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus recently. I'll get into that on an Out of Left with Joey, but for now, we're going to dive into this young man, and this is kind of a long time in the making. Colten being a class of 26 at Chatham-Glenwood, he is the starting quarterback, catcher, and former point guard. Recently named 6A All-State as a quarterback, as well as SJR Big School Football Player of the Year, leading the Titans to the Class 6A state quarterfinals for the second year in a row. Colten completed 177 of 284 passes for 2,643 yards, 29 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, setting career records at Glenwood, most completions in a single game, most passing yards in a game, most TDs in a game, most pass attempts in a season, most completions in a season, most passing yards in a season, and most career completions. He is the son of Jason and Melissa Knoedler, Jason being a former guest friend of mine, Jason also being a former 6th-round pick of the Tigers and Lincoln Land great. How I know Colt? I don't really. I've seen you around from time to time. I grew up with Joey, your uncle, and I think you kind of know kind of the history of me with Jason and Justin. I kind of followed them around, and they were kind of mentors, like big brothers to me in ways. And I can remember seeing you at Joe's from time to time growing up, and always being like, texting your dad and being like, "Hey, tell me what's going on with this guy's sporting career? How's he doing?" And like, he's got the look. And I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I think athletes can see another athlete walk in a room sometimes. So I've always been kind of following your career and whatnot, and this is a pleasure to have you on. I appreciate it. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited. We're kind of reaching out, like we kind of started with the post-game spread of like local pros and their careers and whatnot, and so many people have urged me to bring on other guests and have up-and-coming guys and guys that were just in college that had cool careers too, and they have things to say. So certainly I think you're on a trajectory right now, athletically. Who knows where that's going to go, but I thought it would be really cool to get kind of a little clip in time of where you see yourself, how you see things as a junior in high school when things are really starting to take off for you. So thank you for giving me some of your time, my man. Before we get into some of the questions, I sat down and I talked to your coach of the football team, Coach Hayes, as well as Coach Casey Erickson on the baseball team. So I'm going to play some clips here for you, if you're cool with that, and you can react however you want. So we're going to do this before we get into the questions.
Okay.
Is that cool with you?
Yep.
And if you don't have anything to say about it, that's fine. You can give me a thumbs up. But I thought it was really cool to hear kind of what other people in your life think about you, especially, these two coaches. And anyway, so here we go. This is going to be Coach Hayes on Colt as a standout QB.
Well, he's got the arm talent. He's got the intelligence for it and read a defense and things like that. But really, I think that what stands out for him in terms of attributes at the quarterback position, or really just as an athlete, is his seriousness and his maturity. He plays at a level mentally, I think, of a college kid. I mean, he doesn't. A lot of kids. This may be a little philosophical, but I think a lot of kids today are really raised to be very immature for way too long, and his family has not done that, and he's not that kid. He's a very serious, mature athlete across the board. He understands that to really win championships, you have to be very intent about what you're doing, and you have to be mature about it. And he, on a daily basis, displays that.
Oh man, that's a great answer. Obviously comes from that Knoedler family, and I know Jason's been talking since he was a little kid about how serious he was about working and how serious he was about baseball and football. So it's really cool to hear his kind of his trajectory all the way through, and now other people are seeing these same attributes.
You got anything?
Yeah, I mean, I love that he spoke on the maturity part, and I think a lot of that especially comes from my parents, but also from him. I mean, he's a stand-up guy. He tells the truth, and I think part of the reason that I can be so calm on the field is because of the confidence that he just gives the whole team.
Oh, yeah.
I'm constantly having meetings with him, talking with him, and he's just a great coach.
Oh, man, I love to hear that, man. You're light years more mature than I was when I was your age. Before we started, I had a little conversation with Colt talking about I was a QB2 in high school, and I had my first interview around the time you did, and I really put my foot in my mouth, and I'll always feel like cringy about it. And one of your first ones recently came out that was kind of all focused on you, and I thought you just were really poised and mature, and it speaks a lot to you and your parents.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you. All right, next one, Coach Hayes on the evolution of Colt as a QB.
Well, it's just that starting point. Really going into his sophomore year, he was kind of competing for that position, and we were trying to figure out, is he ready to play and things like that. And the beginning of the year was a little rough. I mean, it took a while for the offense and him as the QB to get rolling. And once they did, we got to the end of the year in the playoff run, and he was really, really rolling. So, then this year you pick up kind of where you left off. That's the thing. His intent about not starting over. He's not going back and trying to get things going heading into a junior year. He kind of picked up where he left off and was really ahead of the game and advancing from there. And I'm sure that's what he'll want to do next year. I mean, he understands.
That's really cool. I'll let you go, obviously, but that's really cool to hear your coach talk about you like that, because I remember when you first kind of won the starting job and maybe the first half of your sophomore year, you guys ran the ball a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And then it kind of slowly progressed to them trusting you more and being able to read defenses and whatnot. Do you have any thoughts on?
Yeah, I mean, going in sophomore year, of course, I was nervous. I was freaking out. And I think just Coach Hay and especially Coach Lanen, just starting off running the football, giving me confidence. I was worried about catching the first snap my sophomore year against whoever we played. I forget now. But, yeah, I mean, just the confidence they gave me, instilled in me, just kind of helped. And then later in the season, opened up the playbook a little bit more.
Yeah.
And by that point, I was accustomed to being in a varsity football game, and I was ready.
And then really opened it up this year, obviously. Throwing it all over the place. That must have been cool. I mean, it's wild to think that just, a year or two ago, you were battling for the QB position, right? You were in competition, right, as a sophomore?
Yes, sir.
Then now, All-State, Player of the Year a year later. Pretty crazy, man. Life comes at you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, man. Next one I have is Colt as a leader. Again, it's going to be Coach Hayes.
Yeah, he's very direct. I mean, there's no mincing words. I wouldn't. He's not exactly a cheerleader guy, but when he speaks, those kids listen and they respond, and that's a leader. He's coached by myself. I've been coaching for 30 years, and Coach Lanen has been coaching for 30 years. We're very direct and very old school, and he's that guy too. For a 17-year-old kid to be, again, as direct and as straightforward, and he doesn't mince words. He doesn't use an extra word when he doesn't have to, and the kids respond when he says something.
Oh, that's terrific.
Love that. So it sounds like you've already kind of, become that leader for this program.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I meet with him very often and we talk about, leadership.
Yeah.
And he I kind of mentor myself after him. I watch him. He's very well spoken, and I just kind of watch the way he treats, the players on defense especially.
Right. He's a defensive guy, right?
Yes, he is. So I take that, and then I take, some of what I see Coach Lanen do and what I see our other coaches do, and I try to kind of just pass that along to my teammates in more of like I don't know how to put this, but like more of a high school way. Not, so like direct and like coach, barking, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
we'll get to a clip here in a second that he, talks more about your leadership and like kind of the unseen things that you do. It's kind of cool. But our next one is going to be Coach Hayes on Colt at the next level.
When it comes to being prepared to be a college athlete, he's that guy. College athletics is nothing like, in terms of its day-to-day, is nothing like high school athletics. And he's prepared for that. He's got the arm talent. He's got the size, and he can run a little bit. He's not afraid to be physical. So he's got the tools there. All that stuff's just a way, way down the line. But I think he's got all the tools to be able to be successful.
Are those schools sniffing around? Am I accurate in what I found there?
Yeah, we're just starting to get into that. He's now here going to be entering into his second semester of his junior year. That's when that thing is going to start happening for him.
Really cool. And like I did my own research, and I found some page where it's like essentially every Division I school, football school in Illinois has some interest in you or has contacted you in some way. And I don't know if that's how accurate that is. We can get into that. But and the period is about to open up when they can talk to you? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of just started. I started, sending out my film, kind of responding to some coaches.
Yeah.
Because I think now it's when they can kind of start to reach out to me. Mm-hmm. So I've actually gotten some recent attention from Ivy Leagues. So
you're a strong student. Yeah, I know that too.
Student first. Right. It's the way I've been brought up.
Yeah.
So that's really intriguing to me and really interested in that. So I'm definitely going to look into that as much as I can.
Oh, man, that's so cool that you got the world in front of you, buddy. All right, man. A couple more from Coach Hayes here. Colt's work ethic. And this is what I've always heard about you as well. Your dad has always echoed this about your work ethic. Everyone around you talks about your work ethic. It's the famous K-team hustle. Here we go.
Yeah, well, he has, as a quarterback, you got to put in that extra time with video. He works with Coach Lane and our offensive coordinator, obviously, directly, as well as our quarterbacks coach, Coach Queenan, the most. I'm a defensive guy, so I don't work with him in the classroom. I don't work with him in the, in meeting rooms or classrooms and things like that. But he comes back in and works extra time with them, extra video. And he's like a coach on the field in that regard in terms of his work ethic. He's, the quarterbacks might go for their individual work. He's the one bouncing around and jogging around. If he's doing it, they're doing it.
Cool to hear. Anything there?
Not a whole lot. It's really just, I feel like as, quarterback, you kind of have to be a leader.
Absolutely.
And I feel like he said, jogging from places to place, like in the morning in the weight room, we start in one area, and then when we go to the weight room, I try and, get people running there so we're not lackadaisical at 6 in the morning. So.
Man, that is your dad could have said the same thing 30 years ago whenever he was in his athletic prime, man. That is so cool to hear that it's being passed down and like there's weight to that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, final Coach Hayes, final thoughts on Colt?
Well, I know that's funny. Both he and I are pretty serious, and I don't end up I don't end up in the meeting rooms with him, but that's that kind of silliness happening sometimes. But I'll tell you that we had a situation where we had some I think some sophomores, kind of leave a bus messy on the way home from a game, and our transportation department got a hold of me and got a hold of us, and really the guy, one of the guys who ended up kind of handling that situation was him. We get home from a road trip, and I'm on one bus, and he might be on another. He's moving from bus to bus to make sure those buses are okay, and and not as a matter of, like a high school boy, quote unquote, staying out of trouble, just to do what's right on behalf of those drivers. He really wanted to make sure that was right every game, and I'm doing it too. And I look around, I got my quarterback doing it too, and so he cares. He cares about people. He participates in we're involved with Superheroes program, which is a youth leadership program, and he's involved with that and works out in our summer. We have our youth camps coming out from kids as young as kindergarten, and he comes out and works that too. And you can really see he cares about the younger kids. He has again, back to the very beginning I was talking about, it's maturity that you don't see out of a 17-year-old guy all the time.
Just more really warm thoughts from your coach talking about you. It's got to be cool, to be on the same page as your coach and have that much respect.
For sure. And I remember that road trip. It was, I believe, week 2, where we come back at like midnight.
Yeah.
And everybody's, rushing off the bus. And me and a few guys stayed back to make sure that we didn't have to run as much as we still ran because, everybody left out of there. There's pizza all over the floor. We still ran. I vividly remember it.
But you tried to do the right thing.
Yeah, but we probably limited the running. Oh, I will say that.
That's awesome. Moving on, this is a former guest, Casey Erickson, good friend of mine, the head skipper at Chatham Glenwood, and you are also the starting catcher. So we're going to go right into We Love Colten Behind the Plate. This is Casey Erickson.
Well, we love Colt behind the plate. He's in charge back there. He has been since he was a freshman. I mean, we brought him up, kind of towards the end of the year, his freshman year. We were having some issues behind the plate, and Colten, we knew, wasn't scared of the moment, even though he was going back there to catch Parker Detmers, who was throwing. I think he got clocked at 94. Was his top that year, so not an easy task for a freshman, but Colton's a little different than your typical freshman, and we knew he could handle it. But we love having him back there behind the plate. He's a leader. He knows the game really well, and he's really good back there. He's got a great arm. He blocks well. He receives well. He calls a great game. And he was, even at a freshman and sophomore, those seasons. I mean, he was a heartbeat, for our team.
Wow. Do you guys let him call his own game, or do you help him, or what do you guys do there?
Yeah, we give him a lot of freedom. We will make some calls, from time to time, but him and whoever is pitching to him, whether it's Parker, last couple of years, or this year, this year and last year, is going to be Cam, and obviously we're going to let those guys do what they want. They know how to set up hitters. They know what they're trying to do. And they're smart players, and we let them play their game.
So some really cool things stand out to me on that. One, that he trusted you to come up as a freshman and catch, mid-90s fuzz, which I'm sure you weren't used to catching at that point, or not on the regular at least. And then secondly, that he lets you, for the most part, call your own game, and that he believes in your, baseball IQ, and how to set up things. And so that's coming from a pro's pro with Casey, who just has lived baseball his whole life. That says so much about the respect he has for you as a baseball player. Do you got anything you want to chip in there?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got called up and they let me know I was going to be catching Parker, first of all, I was excited.
Sure.
But I was also like, I've never caught anything over 85.
Right.
But I think, and then when he let me know that I was going to be calling most of the game, I understood that, he trusts me. And I feel like as a coach, if your coach trusts you, I feel like you can play better. So that just kind of speaks on, the way he kind of views things. And I think that's what makes him a great coach.
Oh, man, that's a great answer. All right. Colten as a hitter, Casey Erickson. Here we go.
Yeah, he was coming along fine. I mean, he's definitely felt like things were just really starting to click for him towards the end of his sophomore, towards the end of last year. He works so hard. He's such a student of the game. He's so determined to be great that inevitably he's going to be one of our top hitters in the lineup. I don't know if it's going to be this year or his senior year, but it's going to happen. There's no doubt. I mean, it's there. So he's, you know how it is, man. As a hitter, you're always trying to figure it out. You know, there's times where you feel great, and then all of a sudden it just goes away, and you got to get it back. But he works so hard and is so focused and driven that there's no doubt, like, he's gonna figure it out and be able to stick with one thing and just go out and be aggressive and you know, swing the bat. You know, so I would expect him to hit in the middle lineup for me this year, and you know, I think he'll produce there.
Cool stuff to hear from Casey. You know, you had did pretty well as a freshman coming up, hitting, held your own, pretty good sophomore year hitting. I feel like, or let me ask you, do you feel like you're in a position now with some growth and getting stronger and more mature to maybe make a leap offensively in this next couple of years, hopefully?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. I've been very streaky my high school career, freshman and sophomore year, you know, a few good games here, and then I'd struggle. And, I mean, I've just been focusing on consistency this offseason and really just figuring out the path that I want, that right center approach that, you know, Dad and Uncle have always preached.
Okay. I can't wait to get into the hitting stuff with you. I'm really kind of fascinated with where you're at. And I know you do, like, some lessons on the side, right?
I do.
Or at least, right?
With some younger kids.
We'll talk about that, too. All right. Casey on Colten's approach.
And that's the thing, too, with Colt. Like, we don't – I know his dad's giving him great instruction. And Colt's already got a great foundation, you know, from what his dad's put in, you know, built into him, what him and Colt have built over the years, or whoever else has helped him out, you know, offensively. But, you know, for me, it's just more of confidence things. And, you know, he'll ask questions with, you know, Coach Matera and I, Coach Torselli. He just bounces things off of us during rounds of BP, you know, and we kind of, you know, just put our 2 cents in what we saw and what looks great, what maybe needs to be a little bit better. But he's always, like I said, he's got a plan. He's got an idea of what he wants to do. And, you know, he's just such a competitor that he's just going to continue to compete with himself until he becomes a really, really good hitter.
And some stuff that Casey and I talked of off air here was also about how much he kind of respects, you know, that your dad was a professional baseball player and that you've grown up with him, you know, teaching you how to hit. And you have this unique leg up on a lot of people. You know, not many people have a dad that played pro baseball and like set all these records offensively and know a lot about hitting. So I think he respects that and maybe is more prone to small suggestions or tweaks with you. Do you have any thoughts about that instead of like big overhaul? Like
yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, so you can't have, you know, too many people trying to tell you
too many
to
voices.
do.
Yeah. It can be
and I think
detrimental.
He does a great job, not just with me, but, you know, with like Parker. He was going to pitch at Louisville. Cam's going to pitch at Tennessee. He knows he can't, you know, overstep what some of these, you know, their dads or coaches are telling them. But he also, you know, he played too. Like, he knows what he's talking about. And I just feel like he's done a great job with me, especially of just like some of the smaller things that he sees. And it's always like try this out, see if you like it. If not, you know, we can try something else.
I love that. It's not his way or the highway. Like, I was a pro.
Exactly.
It's got to be this way, you know? And he also talked about, Casey did, about it's different than Casey and I came up at the same time. Like, now you guys have, like, personal swing coaches. You've got travel teams that are really serious. You've got your dad. Like, you've got your high school coaches. You've got all these, like you said, there can be a lot of voices in your head. And sometimes it can be too many voices. So it sounds like he's got a really cool balance there. Casey on Colten's future.
I mean, he ain't there yet. I know that. Sure. I think he's got a lot to fill out, you know. I think, you know, he can take either path, man, right now. But he's I think, you know, he's really good at baseball. His family has a baseball history. But I think he could definitely play at a high level and professionally. I think he has potential to, you know, serve as a catcher at a big time school, you know, and there's no doubt. You know, there's no doubt. Now, a lot's going to be determined on these next 2 years for him. You know, he's got two big years. You got to remember he's only, you know, just started his junior year, so he's still got that to go. I'm excited to see what he looks like. You know, I'm excited to see what he looks like behind the plate, what he looks like in the box. You know, a lot can change in 6-7 months, and, you know, so we'll see where he's at right now. But, the potential's definitely there.
I loved hearing that. It drives me. So there's been a pattern of guys that I've talked to about you, especially your dad. Your dad drives me nuts about this. I'll text him and be like, "Hey, tell me about how Colt's doing," right? And he'd be like, "Oh, he's working hard." And I'm always like, "Jason, shut up." I was like, "I'm not the paper." I was like, "I'm your friend. Tell me he's awesome. Like, pump your kid up here." But it's cool to hear Casey, who was a pro, say, "Hey, I think this guy is a professional athlete in the waiting, whether it's either sport." Pretty cool to hear.
Yeah, and also I respect that I'm not there yet. I still have a lot of work I have to put in.
Absolutely.
And, my dad, he grounds me. He keeps me humble.
Sure.
And I really appreciate that, but so does Casey. He knows what it takes, and he knows there's a lot of work that has to be put in.
Love that, man. All right, 2 more from Casey, and then we'll move on to our questions, which I'm really excited to get to. Casey, on your work ethic and leadership.
Yeah, I mean, no hesitation to lead. There's no hesitation. He's just kind of built for it. I told you before, he's the heartbeat of the team as a sophomore for sure. Last year, but even more this year. He's just a natural leader. He works extremely hard. And he does it in a way that it just looks like.
We are also brought to you by Sitco Chiropractic. They can be reached at 217-525-2035 and sitcochiropractic.com. They offer chiropractic care, corrective exercises, lifestyle advice, nutritional counseling, spinal and postural screenings. They are located at 205 North Grand Avenue. Love the Sitco family. From the dad, Steven, to Kyle and Casey, I grew up with them. Their brother Tyler was a big-time baseball player at SHG and SCI. There's a reason they have over 70 ratings on Google, and they're all 5.0. These guys are great. I went to them a few years back for some back issues I was having. They'll fix you right up. Go see Sitco Chiropractic. We are also brought to you by Primo Designs and that baseball family over there. They are located at 2417 North Grand Avenue. They can be reached at 217-523-6373. Since 1985, more than 5,000 businesses, schools, and healthcare providers have trusted Primo Designs to help them promote and build their brand. They're awesome with uniforms, tees, branded items. They have top quality, fast delivery, competitive prices, and like I already said, the Namovich name is an absolute baseball name in the community. Go support these guys. They've been doing uniforms since way back when I was in T-ball. Really have a lot of respect for them. I've done some projects with them and will continue to do so in the future. We appreciate you, Primo Designs. We are also brought to you by Body Symmetry, located at 2201 West White Oaks Drive, bodysymmetry.com. More specifically, Chad Marshik, the owner, head trainer. This guy is just amazing on so many levels. He is capable of training anyone from a child to a pro athlete to just your normal everyday person to the elderly. And not only is he a trainer, but he is also adept with, physical therapy, nutrition. Everything is going to be customized to you and what you need. There's a movement analysis when you first come in to address any deficiencies you have. It's all customized. Chad is the most positive, happy guy I've ever been around. Body Symmetry will get you right. I would, put my faith in Chad and his trainers any day. So go to bodysymmetry.com, get set up. Chad, we appreciate you. Thank you. We are also brought to you by Washco Strength and Speed, located at 3604 North Peoria Road, 217-899-3233. Of course, I'm talking about Jared Washco, the Springfield area firefighter, the former pitching standout at SHG and SCI. He is credentialed. He is a CPT, CSCS. Those are the highest credentials you can get in the strength and conditioning game. I think he is absolutely fantastic working with young athletes, probably the best in the area, working with baseball players. His results say it all. He's worked with high school guys, college guys, pro guys, and they keep coming back to him. They get bigger, they get faster, they get stronger, more explosive, better at their sport, less injury prone. He handles it all. He does arm care work. He does speed work. Go see Jared if you are a local athlete trying to get the most out of yourself. Invest in yourself. Go see Jared. We are also brought to you by Cardinal Cleaning. They can be reached at cardinalcleaningonline.com and 217-679-6567. The owner-operator, Adam Springer, local baseball dude, family friend, stand out at Chatham-Glenwood in the mid-'90s. Also had a stellar career at Rend Lake and Kentucky Wesleyan. Cardinal Cleaning can take care of any cleaning needs you have. Home, business, restaurant, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever you need, they can take care of you. Get a hold of Cardinal Cleaning. They'll do the rest.
He's playing a game that he loves, like it doesn't, it's not work for him, man. Like he just loves doing it so much that it's just what he wants to do, he's extremely hard worker. He's way more focused and driven, to continue to just keep getting better every day at whatever sport he's in at that time. I mean, a lot of these kids, man, they're just so locked in at a young age. It's really it's impressive. I wasn't. Were you?
No.
I was not.
I set out until like late high school, early college, really. So I started really dialing in.
I know. I mean, they're so dialed in now. It's just so impressive to see how good of a head these kids have on their shoulders. And you're like, that's the difference between, a JUCO guy or, and somebody who has the opportunity, I guess, to play at big time schools like Louisville or Tennessee and these schools like that. Like, you have to be different, man. And Colten certainly is.
You have to be different, and Colten certainly is. That might be the name of this podcast. That's more really cool stuff from Casey. I love him talking about you being the heartbeat of the team as a sophomore, especially with all these dudes that are going to, Louisville's and Tennessee's, and Chatham's cranking out some talent right now. So
yeah,
more cool stuff to hear from Casey there.
Yeah, I mean, really, really appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, and then lastly, I couldn't get you on this, man. You're squeaky clean. I was like, Casey, tell me something funny about this kid, or something like this. Here we go.
Dude, he doesn't really screw up, You wait for those kids to do something stupid so you can make fun of them, and just maybe tease them about stuff. No, man, he's just has a great demeanor, He just he's fun to be around. He's a lot of fun to be around. He's a great kid, and he's fun to watch. I don't have any good funny stories about him. I'm sure he's got some maybe that have happened, during our season or something. I'm sure the players have some, but I don't. I don't see much but just hard work, and kid just always looks like he's ready to go, So, but maybe I'll get a good one for you this year.
Really cool. And that concludes all of our clips. You got anything to add there? You ready to jump into questions, my friend?
I'm saying I'm ready for the questions.
Okay. It's question time. I've got 60 of them, I believe. Yep. And I sent them to you prior. I like doing that. I think it's beneficial to see these questions beforehand and kind of give them some thought as opposed to just letting it fly on the fly, I guess. So here we go. Number one. What does it feel like being named SJR Big School Player of the Year as well as 6A All-State? Quite the honor.
Yeah, I mean, I was very, very excited. I was really surprised by it because, there's a ton of good players, especially just in the area, and then, statewide even more. So to be honored with that, it just kind of shows the hard work that me and the team put in, starting in January of last year in the weight room and then at practice. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's terrific. And, and when I first reached out to you, or to your dad actually first, to see if we could set this up, you had not been named Player of the Year yet or All-State. These all came within the past couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, very recently.
Yeah, is that man, that's really special to be acknowledged like that, recognized. All right, moving on. Which guests have you listened to, and what was it like hearing your dad's story so in depth?
Yeah, so I'll start with my dad. I listened to the whole thing, and I think one of the things that really stood out to me was just some of the stories that, I've heard most of them by now, but some of the ones that were, more funnier, like some of the stuff I hadn't heard because, he might have not thought I was old enough yet or something.
Sure, yeah,
I thought
getting
those
there
were
now.
Great. I thought those were great, and I'm starting to hear more of them now, just kind of talking baseball with him and,
as you get older, he'll let you in on some of those locker room stories and some of the fun stuff like that.
Yeah. He told, I'm not going to get into it, but he told me and my buddies one on the way back from a Cardinals game. And, cool. I mean, we were almost in tears laughing.
And your dad's a great storyteller, too.
Oh, yeah, he's great at it. He's great at it.
He sets it up well. He just he gets like animated and like excited and like he drops punchlines. Yeah, awesome. So what other ones have you listened to as well?
So I listen to my uncles, Justin, and then I listen to both Casey and Corey's.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah, and now you're going to be amongst them.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Cool,
it's
right?
Definitely cool.
Yeah, and like one of my main things was, I mean, obviously, I want to have this available for people's families the rest of their lives, and I think it'll always be a cool thing for you or your sister or your younger brother to be able to listen to and go back. It's not every day that you can get your dad to talk about baseball or his career for hours on end, right? So you'll always have that. All right, who is the best athlete in the Knoedler family?
Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm gonna have to go with Grandma.
Really?
Honestly, Grandma Tree. I mean, 6'2", she could dunk.
Yeah.
I've heard stories about her, softball. Like, yeah, I mean, she kind of started it all. Yeah. So I feel like it's got to be her.
I remember both your dad and Justin both alluded to your grandpa being kind of more computer nerdish and her being the athlete of the family. That's really where the athleticism kind of came from.
Yeah.
So.
No, I heard she was a beast. So.
And Mom, we got Mama coming in here right now. She floated around when we did Jason's story as well. So yeah. Give some credit to Mom too.
Yeah, shout out my mom.
You were a swimmer, right? Swimmer, weren't you?
She was a swimmer. She claims all the athletic ability comes from her. I'll give her some credit. I will. Yeah, swimming's definitely hard. I did a swimming workout over on vacation a few days ago, and it was rough. It was rough.
Do you feel the weight of the Knoedler name, particularly in baseball?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, just kind of I get so much feedback from my dad and my uncle, and they're always, they're very honest with me. My dad's, never pushed me to do anything.
Yeah.
He's always, there for me, I'd say. But, I mean, in terms of, like, pushing me to pursue baseball, I honestly think he enjoys watching me play football more than watching me play baseball. I see him up in the stands, and I feel like he's just about to lose it.
Really? During football games?
I feel like he's more nervous than me sometimes.
Really?
So, yeah.
So not that I would think Jason would push you, but this has always been something that you have loved to do, loved to compete, loved to play sports.
Yeah.
No one had to tell you to go practice or do this or that. Mm-mm. Yeah. That's a winning combination, my friend. Tell me something funny about your dad that no one would know.
Oh. There's a few things. I would say, number one, I feel like he walks out every morning of his bedroom with his shirt tucked in. And we always had to tell him, I'm like, Dad, like, that's not cool. Like, you can't walk around with your shirt tucked in. That's not a thing. And yeah, I mean, he's just a dad. And then some of just the comments he makes, like his phrases. He always says boom. That's like his go-to.
Boom. He does say boom.
He says boom all the time. And it's like, and we make fun of him for it, and he just continues to do it.
Yeah.
We tried to get him to make his New Year's resolution, actually, is to stop saying boom.
Stop saying boom? It's that
Stop
much
saying boom.
An issue?
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Does he still do the whistle thing? He used to always like walk around and whistle, right?
Yeah.
It's like
yeah. Or we were on the golf course down in Naples, and he's got his golf club and he's swinging it like a baseball bat, like, and then he slices it and he wonders why he sliced it. Oh, because you're a baseball player.
Oh man. Okay, I love that. And I think I already asked you this one, and we just kind of covered it. I said your dad's never pushed you into sports, or I read that, and obviously that's true. We kind of covered it, so we can breeze past that. I recently read in this past article that just came out in the SJR, which was fantastic, that you place your schoolwork above sports, which is wildly mature of you. Saying sports aren't forever. Is that from your parents, or is that within you, or how did you kind of come to that?
It's kind of both. My dad, mom have always told me that there's more in life than just sports, and because I've grown up, sports is my life. That's all I've ever done. Sure. Played 3 sports up until very recently. Yeah. So that's definitely what I love. But I know when it comes down to it, I want to be successful, whether it's sports or just in life in general. Yeah. So I take my grades very, very seriously.
Man, you're more mature than I am. That's so great to hear, man. And I don't know, we can cut this out if it's not appropriate, but you just told me that maybe there's a little bit of interest from some Ivy League schools now that are kind of looking around and like, wow, what a testament to your academic prowess to have these schools interested in you, not only for your athletics, but you have to be really strong academically for them to even want you. So
that's pretty cool.
A lot. Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. This is kind of a deeper one. Do you feel pressure to perform individually, or is it just about winning? If you need me to go further into clarifying that, I can. But
you say it one more time.
Do you feel pressure to perform individually, or is it just about winning? Like, obviously everybody wants to win, right?
I would say more winning. And I would say any pressure that comes individually is because I want to win. I want to win for the team and just kind of the competitiveness of it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, a fun one here. I read that in your leisure time, you will play some video games.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have a favorite baseball video game? Do you play a baseball video game?
I would just say MLB The Show. Yeah. It's kind of
the standard.
It's the classic one. So
I haven't played it in many years now. Is there still a Road to the Show where you can create a player?
There is.
Do you create yourself?
I usually have two. So I have myself, and then I've got like a jacked power hitter that just hits bombs. So
do you turn yourself into a power hitter that makes bombs?
I try to, but I put myself at the exact height and weight, and 6'1", 190 isn't necessarily power hitter yet.
Right.
So.
I remember there was an NCAA baseball game that came out around time when I was playing NCAA baseball, and I would always create myself and crank my power numbers up because I always wanted to hit jacks, and I didn't hit that many of them, so it was always fun to do that, at least in a video game.
They need to come back out with one of those because they've got the NCAA football now.
I would love for them to bring that back. Do you play any football video games? You a Madden guy?
Madden, NCAA.
They just recently came back out with that, right?
Oh, yeah. It's so
phenomenal.
Fun. So fun.
Okay. What system are you playing on?
PlayStation 5.
Okay, cool. Best and worst baseball movie?
I'd say best has got to be Moneyball. It's classic.
There we go.
It's classic.
You are an old soul, my friend. Yeah.
And then worst, and I wouldn't say I thought this as a kid. I thought it was great. Rookie of the Year.
What you got? Tell me why.
I watched it recently. It's the acting for me. I'm a guy that I like watching good actors. Like if there's a TV show and the acting's bad, I struggle with it. And it's just not good acting. And it's just very far-fetched.
Is that part of it, too? Because I had the same kind of idea. Like, it was fun to watch as a kid, but then, like, as an adult and knowing what professional baseball is and all these things, like, the idea of, like, a kid breaking his arm and then throwing 100 miles an hour and being in the major leagues is just preposterous.
It's cool to think about if that actually happened. And as a kid, I was like, oh, my God, this kid's amazing. But
oh, cool. So I had to rework some of your questions because when I first kind of floated this idea to you, you were still a three-sport guy, or I thought you were. So up until this year, you were a three-sport athlete. What went into the decision to stop playing basketball? And I've got some thoughts, but I don't want to lead you, so go ahead.
So it was more of just what I want to do in the future. Yep. So I've got, two paths that I see, either football or baseball.
Yeah.
And I just knew that basketball-wise, I probably didn't see myself playing college basketball.
Right.
So it was more of that, and then
time to work out and get stronger.
Yeah, put on some weight.
Yeah, and that's hard to do. I mean, there's obviously merit in playing basketball in terms of conditioning and athleticism, but that's also time when you could be getting stronger.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know that you work with my good buddy Dayton Burnett quite a bit, right?
Yeah, I'm going to see him later today.
Yeah, he's actually going to see him after this. We had to get it in a little early to get him in time. But Dayton is incredibly innovative and great. I think he's probably the number one guy for training local football guys. He's really awesome.
For sure.
How long have you been working with Dayton now?
Since I was 11. My mom.
You guys got the whole K team working with him, right? Yeah. I know I've seen videos of like Claire's. Have you got CJ in there too yet, or really?
Oh boy.
Oh man. Cool. And I also kind of wondered. I wanted to ask you about it. Like, did you realize that things were going to be a little more serious for you now, football and baseball wise? And was there any thought of like, I don't want to tear an ACL or something like that playing basketball, or did that go into it at all?
I wouldn't say that really went into it, but I mean, also I knew that if I did take basketball off, I could, get in with Dayton and, help with injury prevention because he does a great job with that.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Another three-sport question. In what ways, leading up to this, you were a three-sport athlete your whole life. Mm-hmm. In what ways did playing all three help you, and in what ways were they positive? Was that a positive for you in your life?
I think it really helped with time management. I kind of learned.
I wasn't expecting that answer.
Yeah. So, because you've got to manage, every single day. You've got some activity going on, and then you've also got schoolwork and, social time.
Yeah.
So I think just kind of managing that, it's kind of just helped me become more organized.
Do you miss playing basketball at all?
Not really. Okay. A little bit, I guess, but it's more of I've just been having a lot of fun, lifting. I've been eating right, and then just more time to, be a kid, hang out with my friends, stuff like that.
Beautiful. Do you ever do baseball stuff during football season or vice versa? Like, are you ever taking any cuts on the weekend or anything like that?
Yeah. I kind of not as much during football because I've got, the off season during basketball to get ready for baseball.
Sure.
But baseball leads into football, so during baseball, I throw in stuff like that, keep my arm strong.
Let me ask you this. I've got my own answer because I was a quarterback like you too. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like throwing a football is beneficial for your baseball throwing, or do you feel like baseball is more beneficial for your football arm? Does that make sense how I asked that?
Yeah, so I would say it's honestly both. Being a catcher, the arm slot is actually very similar to being a quarterback.
Yeah, shorter stroke.
Yeah. And then you see, the big leaguers, like Paul Skeens warms up with the football.
Yeah.
So I feel like I always come out of football season and, I touch a baseball and I'm like, this thing feels so light.
Right.
And I just feel like I can chuck it.
I always felt like the football did a lot more for my baseball arm than baseball did for football. Football really got my arm strong, and it's not the same kind of stress. I almost never got sore from throwing a football.
Yeah.
But absolutely, it's pretty easy to get sore if you throw a baseball a lot. Yeah. Okay, here's a question. Do you like one sport better than the other?
As of now, no. I mentioned this in my SJR article when they interviewed me. It changes by the day. You ask me, one day baseball, one day it's football.
Sure. Yeah. Future is bright for you, my friend. So what was it like being a freshman catcher being called up to varsity, catching Parker Detmer's throwing mid-90s fuzz?
It was really cool. Yeah. That's something I'll, hopefully, and I think he can, if he goes on to pitch, in the bigs, sure. I can say that, I was able to catch him my freshman year.
Yeah. Or maybe he can say that you caught him.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah. Do you see yourself playing a sport or sports collegiately?
Yeah. That's the goal. That's
sure.
what I've been working towards, the past few years especially.
Yeah. Is there any scenario where you could see yourself doing both and collegiately, or do you think that would be too much?
I think it would probably be too much. Yeah. That'd be like dream come true if I could play both baseball and football. But
especially as a quarterback, though, because there's so much that goes into that, right?
I think if you're trying to play, Luke Lanin, he does it up at North Central, and that's just incredible.
Yeah.
To be able to be the quarterback of the football team and then go play center field.
Right. It's different if you were like a DB or something. There's not the same amount of prep work, right? Or
for sure.
Buy-in. Okay. This is cool. Are there any QBs that you try to emulate or are your favorite?
I'm a huge Packers fan, like die hard.
Okay.
So I would say Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, man, my favorite too.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think tool-wise, when you talk about the greatest makeup of a quarterback in terms of like arm strength, accuracy, mobility, understanding defenses, stretching the field, I think he is the ideal. I think he's the greatest quarterback tool-wise ever. Maybe Tom Brady is the GOAT with all his championships.
I'd agree with that.
Nobody throws a ball like prime Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I think he's the greatest quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Arm talent-wise, for sure.
And
he chucks that thing.
And there's all kind of stuff now on social media, and like there's QB coaches, and there's Aaron Rodgers is famous for his footwork and things like that. Mm-hmm. Are these things that you're looking at and trying to understand?
For sure.
And yeah, there's a lot that goes into quarterback stuff. Cool, man. So obviously you play travel baseball and whatnot. Have you been to any football or QB camps during the summer? And will you now? Or if you haven't, because of baseball, will you now?
Yeah, so I went to a few showcases over the summer for football, like Illinois, ISU. I went up to the mega camp at North Central, and then I worked at Derek Leonard's quarterback camp.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he does a great job. So then, I'm going to quarterback coach in a few weeks, and then the Martin Luther King Rivals camp, I'll be there.
Okay.
So,
are these invitation type things?
So
or how does
the Martin Luther King one, I had recommended by Edgy Tim. I don't know if you know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Big Illinois, like, red zone dude, kind of.
Uh-huh.
He told me that I should probably attend that, and then,
Okay. Is there any particular music that you listen to pregame or work out to? What does Colten Knoedler listen to?
So I get music control in the weight room, actually.
Really?
So I have to,
You're the DJ?
mix in a variety because,
Keep everyone happy?
Yeah. And I mean, I get plenty of critique, but I think my music's great because I play, classics, AC/DC, stuff like that.
If you don't have to cater to anyone else, what are you listening to?
NBA Youngboy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. NBA Youngboy. I don't even know who that is.
He's a rapper.
Well, I know he's a rapper, but
You probably wouldn't like him.
I'm 40 now, and I just I'm not as with it as I used to be. This is interesting. I'm really curious about this. Take me through what all goes into prepping as a high school quarterback in season. I'm talking film work, going over your schemes. Like how much time and effort goes in a week to that?
So for me, it starts Monday. We go in after school, and we've got kind of our coaches prepare like a slideshow of the team that we're facing, kind of like coverages they do.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they post a film of that team that I can start watching and my teammates can start watching. Coach Landon does a great job with that. I know him and all the coaches meet on Sundays, I believe.
Yeah.
And they kind of prepare the game plan. So it starts Monday, kind of get through that. We do some walkthrough stuff. Tuesday, it's practice, specifically passing game Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday's more like running and play action. And then Thursday, we have like a game day simulation. So we actually go out on the field, which is really cool. And we go through, our first series.
Yeah.
Ideally, what would happen.
Yeah.
And then
That's scripted usually, right?
Yeah.
The first, however
Mhm.
many plays of the game.
Yeah. And then Friday, meet with Coach Landon one more time, and then game time.
Do you have the power to come to the line and call an audible if you see something you don't like? Or are you there yet?
I do. So
That's cool.
I'm able to run plays. I can change run plays, and Coach Landon's given me that freedom because of the time we spend together. And he teaches me so much and helps me tremendously.
Do you feel like your ability to read defenses now at the line has gotten better as you from your sophomore to your junior year?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It slows the game down.
Sure.
So sophomore year, everything looks so fast because freshman football, it's
pretty basic.
Yeah, pretty easy, pretty simple. But then varsity, everything's moving quicker, stuff like that.
It's like when you outside of football practice and what you're kind of mandated to do, are you coming home and looking at film? Do you do stuff like that, or?
So I have a study hall during school.
Okay.
And
That's
I
what
get
you
my
use it for.
schoolwork done, but probably half the time I don't have anything. So that's an hour I can get where I can watch film,
Beautiful.
look through the playbook, stuff like that.
Right on, man. Okay, moving on. When did you fall in love with baseball? And to top on that, are there any core memories growing up baseball-wise that are important to you? Like winning a showcase or, seeing a big league field for the first time or anything, if anything jumps out to you?
I would say, and I don't remember the age, I remember it was a St. Louis Cardinals game, probably 4th or 5th grade, and I remember just being in awe of watching them warm up, and I was like, this is just unbelievable. This is so cool. Like, this is something that, I want to really work hard to get here because this just looks amazing.
So would you say around that time would you say your goal is to become a professional athlete?
I mean, yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be really, really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Are there any hitters' swings that you try to emulate?
I would say Mookie Betts.
Oh man,
Mookie Betts and Nolan Arenado. My dad constantly sends me clips of them swinging.
Really?
I'm constantly, watching them hit, and I try to take because they're very, right center approach.
Sure.
And you can just kind of tell by the way they swing.
Yeah.
So I kind of try and take that into what I do.
Those are great swings. moving on into it, and this is kind of, you just mentioned your dad here. So your dad has some, from what I think your dad has maybe some more old school thoughts kind of on a baseball swing. I remember him talking about throw the hands and things like that, which is typically not vernacular that people are using today. Do you share all of the same thoughts as your dad, or do you have any thoughts on kind of some of the new school stuff? I'm talking about, tilt posture, turning the barrel, scissor kicking, deceleration, coiling, all that, the new stuff. Does he?
So he does. The coiling part speaks out to me because he does talk about that.
Getting into your hip.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's very old school, like hit down on it.
Yeah.
Stuff like terms like that.
What are your thoughts?
I agree with most of it. Yeah. I'm not. I think the hitting coaches you see today, the stuff they're saying, those big league guys are much stronger than high school players.
Sure.
So, they're able to do the launch angle stuff and all that and pop balls up and get away with it because they're flying out the ballpark.
Sure.
So.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Do you follow any Instagram hitting coaches or accounts? And if yes, which ones do you like?
I do. I follow many. I would say my favorite is this guy named Ian Jenkins.
Oh, I love him.
He's
fantastic. Yeah.
So I watch a lot of his stuff.
Oh, yeah. He's an absolute tank,
drills.
too, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he can still, not only is he like really well versed and just like down the rabbit hole, but he can like still do it. I mean, he can still hit a ball 500 feet. Mm-hmm. Crazy. Yeah. Anyone else that you really like?
I would say that's really it.
Okay.
I mean, a bunch of small guys here and there, but he's the main one.
Okay. And you, I remember your mom posting something on Facebook actually about you were starting to give hitting lessons.
Yeah.
Right? And you're just like kind of putting the word out there. When do you do that? And do you have any kind of hitting absolutes that you like really believe in,
Yeah, so I started it, I think, mainly last summer.
Okay.
So really got into it, and then I'm starting here soon, getting back into it because I'm, not playing basketball.
Sure.
And I would say
we are also brought to you by Matt Brewer. Matt is an attorney here in town at the law offices of Stephen Kelly. Matt exclusively practices in the areas of personal injury and workers' compensation. He can be reached at 217-544-8000 or mbrewer@stephenkelly.com. I loved competing against this guy growing up. He was an SHG grad, 2002, stud in football and baseball, went on to star for Dan Callahan at SIU Carbondale, and then had a one-year career pitching in the Diamondbacks organization. I ran into this guy the other day. He looks like he could still lace him up. We appreciate you, Matt. We are also brought to you by Milner Dentistry, located at 755 South Grand Avenue West. They can be reached at 217-528-3384. Dr. Ty and the staff are incredible. The place is clean. They do amazing work. They can handle all your dentistry needs. Thanks again to Dr. Ty for agreeing to sponsor us here. He was a standout at Rochester, SCI, and then later had a really cool story of walking on at the U of I. Have a ton of respect for this guy. Please go support Dr. Ty and Milner Dentistry. We are also brought to you by Cornerstone Financial Services. This is my good buddy Ryan Kaiser, who has 18 years in the business. They are located at 2001 West Monroe Street, 217-718-4670. This is an absolute baseball family, the Kaiser family. They're Cubs crazy. They're part of the Arsenal family. Ryan specializes in retirement planning, estate planning, is a certified financial planner, and does wealth management. There's over 60 years of experience in that building with other financial services guys. Please go see them for anything you might have in this field. We really appreciate you. Big fan of Ryan Kaiser. We are also brought to you by Sheehan & Sheehan Lawyers, located at 1215 South 4th Street, Suite A. They can be contacted at 217-544-0701. I'm talking Pat Sr., Pat Jr., and Willie. They can be contacted for adoption needs, agricultural law, business and commercial law, estate planning, real estate planning, taxation, traffic and minor traffic offenses, personal injury, wrongful death suits. And I grew up with Willie playing baseball on the Southwest Braves. We were state champs. He played high school baseball and soccer at SHG. Pat Jr. was an accomplished baseball player at SHG, SCI, and finally the U of I. We really appreciate the Sheens here. Love this guy. Love this family. Great, great family. So go see these guys. Appreciate you.
The
It's not really hitting absolutes. It's because I work with a lot of younger kids.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of starting their, careers.
Sure.
I really just confidence. Try to give them as much confidence as I can.
Yeah.
Like, tell them that they can do it, pretty much.
Oh, man, that is such a huge part of being a successful baseball player is believing in yourself and confidence. I love that, my man. Take me through. Are you a tee work guy? Do you do tee?
I am. Yes.
Take me through your tee work routine. How you typically, if you were going to start a hitting session, how would you do it?
So show up, immediately get a bat weight on.
Okay.
Immediately get a bat weight on. Just take a few swings with that, and then
Get loose with that. Feel the contrast of
for sure. And then start like high tee. That's what I always start with. High tee.
Why?
Just staying on top of the ball.
Okay.
I struggle with peeling off the ball.
Okay.
Stuff like that, not staying through it. So
like pulling your front shoulder open too early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So then I high tee, and then I move from that, and then outside corner, just pepper right side of the field. Try to hit line drives right at the second baseman.
Okay. Do you feel? So you say your approach is kind of like right center.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, with that approach, do you still work on trying to pull the ball, or do you think that's just something that you're good at, so you don't have to really address too much?
I mean, I still work on it,
sense?
but if you're thinking, right center and that ball comes in, you've already got kind of, your shoulders down. You're ready to go that way. So
Yeah.
it's pretty much just all hands from there.
Okay, I get that. When I say feel versus real, is that something that you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So kind of like my dad says, hit down on it. You're not actually going to hit down on the baseball.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking, head down, going to the zone, it's not going to look like you're actually trying to hit the ball directly down.
You get it. And that's so what to explain that to other people, feel versus real, there's a lot of like drills and things that you can do in hitting that might correct something. Like if you have a really steep barrel path, you might have to think attacking underneath the ball and coming up. But if you have, a really bad uppercut, you might have to think getting down on the ball. So sometimes you have to do exaggerated movements to make correct movements. So,
And one story my uncle always tells me.
Justin?
Yeah, Justin.
Okay.
Barry Bonds. He'd step into the cage, and the first 5 or 6, he would try to hit them almost directly off the plate.
He's famous for that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like his thing, and it just creates that backspin, and helps you send balls.
That drill was actually the drill that kind of started Christian Yelich's career. Like he went from kind of like a pretty good player to he started doing that drill, and then became kind of like an MVP type guy, and he always credited Barry with that. Cool that you even know what that is. Tell me what it's like playing for Casey Erickson, man. It's got to be so cool playing for like a pro's pro. The Erickson name, the family is just huge here in Central Illinois. What's that like?
I mean, I would say mainly is he knows what he's talking about.
Right. You don't have to question that.
He's not going to stray you wrong.
Right.
And then I would say the other thing is he's easy to talk to.
Okay.
He's in with the times.
Would you call him a player's coach?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You feel like you can joke around with him.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. So.
But is there also still the understanding that he's the coach and like?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, he'll still get on you.
Yeah.
He'll still let you know that like if you're doing something wrong, he's straight up. He doesn't sugarcoat things. So that's what I like.
That's cool to have that balance. I had that balance with Ron Riggle. Bull was my coach at Lincoln Land, and I always thought he was great that you could talk to him and be friendly, but when it came down to it, if you messed up, you're going to run.
Yeah.
And there was that. Some coaches can be too friendly, some can be too strict. He had a good balance. Sounds like Casey is kind of similar.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that, man. Is he pretty well liked?
Oh yeah,
by everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. Tell me what. I know you play for. I think I know you play for a travel baseball team that's not here. Tell me who you play for and how did you end up playing for them?
So I played the past few years with a team called Flood City. Mm-hmm. It's like an organization out of Pennsylvania. And we were like the Midwest team.
Okay.
Head coach Ryan Turner, one of my dad's best friends from college.
Of course,
so,
yeah.
And then now we kind of merged with Top Tier, which is like a big Illinois organization.
Yeah. Okay, so is it going to be a new team this summer?
Yes, same kids for the most part that I've been playing with.
But now is it Top Tier?
It is Top Tier, yes.
Okay. And do they have a facility here in town?
Or
what do they use?
It's up north a little bit, but I mean, most of the practices are like stuff on your own.
Okay.
So,
are they in like the Five-tool player lab? Is that where they do stuff?
I think so.
I think so, too. Okay.
I haven't been up there yet.
Okay. I mean, you obviously got the clubhouse to go to.
Yeah, it's
pretty nice.
awesome.
Yeah. Tell me how you prepare yourself physically. We kind of talked about, Dayton Burnett being your trainer. Dayton does a lot of awesome football stuff here in town.
Yeah, I mean, working out with him and then eating right. I feel like dieting is a huge part of, feeling right to play. I try not to eat a ton of junk food.
What's your diet like?
So my mom,
she's helping you meal prep, right?
Oh, yeah, she does a great job.
Shout out.
So, I mean, it's pretty much eggs and sausage, potatoes every morning.
Yeah.
She mixes some spinach in there.
Okay.
I don't like it, but I eat it. And then lunch, it's sometimes it's either chicken. It's always rice, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then dinners, whatever she wants to make, she does a great job.
Are you doing like protein shakes?
Oh, yeah.
Or creatine or anything like that yet?
Yeah. So I go over, I think it's just Supplement Superstore.
Yeah.
Over in Springfield, and First Form is the brand I use. So
yeah.
I've got, I get my creatine from there.
Yeah. What is there a goal weight you want to be at? You said you're about 6'1", 190 right now, or
yeah. So I mean, ideally, if I can add 5 to 10 pounds of muscle for next year, I feel like 6'1", 200.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
And you said you're hoping to get another inch out of there, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be great.
There's some height in the Knoedler family.
There is.
It could definitely happen. But your dad's about 6 footer, a little over 6 foot, right? You said you're taller than him now?
I am. I rub it in.
Okay, a little bit deeper question here. How are the car rides home after games with your dad, if you are taking the car ride? I mean, I guess you're now old enough where you're driving yourself sometimes, but what is that like? How is Jason on car rides home? Are you guys talking about what went right, what went wrong, positive? I couldn't imagine him being negative. He's Mr. Sunshine. So what you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually pretty positive. I mean, when I was younger, I was like, oh, all he wants to do is yell at me, all this. But,
sure,
growing up a little bit, maturing, I understand that he is
trying to make you better.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, we don't get into it anymore, and it's awesome.
Do you guys ever butt heads? Like my dad and I used to butt heads all the time. He was my personal BP pitcher essentially.
Yeah.
And like we would, my own, just being young and dumb, I'd be getting mad. My swing wasn't going well. We'd be barking at each other. Do you guys ever have any battles in the batting cage or anything like that?
Oh, I mean, for sure. And I think I feel like every father-son does. So.
It's a rite of passage you have to go through.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is kind of a two-part. How do you block out distractions, and what are your thoughts on social media? I've noticed you don't have a huge presence. You're not like Mr. Social Media guy,
Yeah. I mean, I have a few posts on Instagram, but it's more of like end-of-the-year stuff. I try my best before games not to be on my phone. So I read in a book that like it diminishes something. So it's like if you're not on it for like the hour before you play, it like increases like focus or something.
Yeah, there are studies showing that it decreases your attention span, even just like moving from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. And absolutely, man, that's pretty impressive of you. So you don't feel like pressure to have this huge social media presence and like, grateful for this visit or grateful for this offer. Or like I noticed I've got a cousin that was kind of on the D1 trail and he was like posting every single thing he went to, and like, you don't feel that.
Not necessarily, no. And, I mean, really the only sport that does that is football.
Yeah.
You don't see a ton of people, baseball-wise, posting their offers.
Right.
Like Cameron Appenzeller. He probably could have gone to any school he wanted to.
Sure.
He probably had offers from everywhere, but it's not like he was, very upfront about posting all of it. He just, committed.
I don't think that would be kind of in line in your personality and vibe either, right?
No.
That's not who you are. All right. Cool question here. What number in each sport are you and why?
So I'm 12 in football,
right,
and that kind of stems from just lifelong Packers fan, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah. And then baseball-wise, I've wore 31 freshman and sophomore year, and there's really nothing to that. It was just that was the
what
only,
you got?
That was the only number left.
If you could choose a number, what would you choose?
I'd probably just stick with 12. I used to always wear,
in baseball.
In baseball, I'd probably just stick with 12. I've always wore 10 growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But then...
Is that your dad's number?
It was.
I thought so.
So I just kind of got away from it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if 10's available for baseball, I think I'd definitely take it.
Yeah.
But I like 12. So
did your dad give you that shirt? So that when I did his podcast, I had this shirt of your dad's. It was like a minor league shirt of his, and he had his number on the back, and I was like, why do I still have this? I was like, I need to give this back to Jason to give to Colt because I thought it would have been cool for you to have something like that.
Yeah, I remember it now. Yeah,
Okay.
it's up in my closet.
Because
So.
I remember growing up, my dad was a big-time athlete, too, and I always loved having some of his shirts. So I'm glad it made it to you, my friend. I don't know if during school ball, do you guys have walk-up music?
We do.
What do you use?
So my freshman year, it was Call Me Maybe.
Really?
Not my choice. Not my choice.
Did the seniors have to pick that for you?
They did. I mean, I wasn't opposed to it. So
It's got a catchy beat.
yeah, I mean, I kind of like that fun music. So, and then last year, I think it was just a song by Lil Baby. Okay. But this year, I might go back to something funny.
Okay.
So,
Keep it light.
yeah.
Sure. What's better, hitting a bomb or throwing a touchdown?
I'd say hitting a bomb,
Yeah.
just because it's more. I'd say bombs happen less.
Yeah, you threw a lot of touchdowns this year, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, especially for me, I'm not a huge power hitter, so when I hit a bomb, it's
Pretty special.
It feels pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So.
pretty special. Do you have a favorite baseball team? You already said your favorite football team's Packers. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, St. Louis Cardinals all the way.
So is your allegiance more to Aaron Rodgers? Did you root for the Jets this year, or can you root for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers?
I would say it's more Packers, but I still followed Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's probably time for him to retire.
It's close.
I feel
man.
like he should.
It's a tough season for him, wasn't it? I was rooting
think
for
he
him
should
too.
go out.
I wasn't thinking it was going to happen like this,
No.
But
I was happy to see him and Devontae get back together.
yeah, that was cool. Get a little reunion going. Top 5 all-time favorite baseball players.
Ooh. I would say number 1, probably Yachty.
Okay.
Just growing up as a Cardinals fan, I think he's one of the best defensive catchers.
100%. Maybe ever.
Yeah. And then I would say, guys I watch hitting, Mookie Betts, Nolan Arenado. Arenado's a Cardinals guy. Mm-hmm. Was that 3?
That's 3.
We got 2 more. I would say Barry Bonds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
cool.
It's controversial. But
Hey, he's the greatest hitter of all time.
love watching his highlights. Love watching his highlights.
There's never been a better hitter.
Yeah.
And obviously he might have taken some routes to get to that. That we're not on the up and up. But if you're just saying, what is the pinnacle of hitting a baseball, the greatest to ever do it? It's Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then 5th, I would say.
Has Justin told you some cool stories about him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's some stories that we couldn't share on here because we keep things pretty PC, but Justin's got some great stories about Barry Bonds too.
I would say I really like Tommy Edman.
Oh, cool.
Not on the Cardinals anymore, but switch hitter, kind of similar approach to what I try to do. So I really like watching him play.
Wait, are you a switch hitter?
I am not, no.
Just righty.
Yeah, just righty. But.
So tell me about your hitting approach. What are you trying to do when you're up there? You've already talked about this kind of right center approach. Are you thinking you want it in the air? You want it hard? Are you looking for a particular part of the plate?
I would say 0-0 count, walk up to the plate. I'm looking middle away, just something I can crush.
Are you taking your hardest? Do you have an A or B swing? You're going to really take a daddy hack your first strike?
I would say if it's middle away, I'm taking that.
Let
hack.
It go.
Yeah,
and then a little more controlled as you get deeper into the count. Or
I'd agree with that, but the swing stays the same. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of really choking up, getting wide, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm already fairly wide and my stride's not huge. So I feel like with 2 strikes, all I have to do is just kind of, I don't know, try to put barrel on the ball.
Yeah. Are you ever thinking pitches?
I try not to.
Yeah.
I just react. I'm always thinking fastball until, your eyes tell you no.
Gotcha. So. Okay. So you're not thinking I talked a little bit about in some of these podcasts about when you get deeper into baseball and there's more shape to pitches and movement and velocity, a lot of professional players would be like, okay, I'm being aggressive on the outside or I'm being aggressive on the inside and I'm not looking on the opposite. But probably you don't need to do that in high school yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. It's not like high school pitchers are truly locating their off-speed pitches. Guys like Cam locates his off-speed, which is incredible.
But he's uncommon.
Yeah.
Not every high school player is doing that. What would you say the average velocity is you see in the CS8?
I would say the top CS8 teams, I would say probably low to mid 80s.
Yeah.
So Yeah, around that.
Yeah, for sure. So you tell me about how you break in and maintain a glove.
So I'm a big Rawlings guy. Mm-hmm. Always have used Rawlings.
Me too.
Nice. I've got like this glove conditioner. I put a little bit of that on it, but more it's just using it.
Yeah.
Kind of just old school, just beat it with a mallet a little bit.
How often are you having to get a new catcher's mitt?
So recently it's been every year for the most part. I've got
so much use, they get worn out.
I've got one that I used towards the end of last year that I'm going to use probably for school season this year.
Okay.
But then I've got another one that I got recently that I'll probably try to break in throughout school season to get ready for summer ball.
And do you play – Casey said that you're capable of playing other positions, but he just has you catch. What do you think where else can you play on the diamond?
So in the summer I play a little bit of short
and
then outfield. And, I mean, I love to pitch, but I've kind of gotten away from that. Being a quarterback, it's a lot of stress on the arm trying to do both.
And let me just add a little advice, even if you don't need it. I think it's really important for baseball players to be able to play multiple positions.
Yeah.
And it's really valuable as you get deeper into baseball. And one of the things, I played a little bit of pro ball myself that I thought was really interesting was that utility guys had staying power on teams, and guys that could play multiple positions, even if they weren't super strong with the stick, they stuck around. Whereas, I was by the end of my career, I was an outfielder only, and I got released a few times, and I was like, man, if I could just catch a little bit or like just be a backup infielder, like that'd been helpful. So there's my advice for you. You just mentioned Rawlings as your favorite glove. Is this pro preferred, Heart of the Hide?
Heart of the Hide.
Heart of the Hide?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Heart of the Hide guy too, my man. Do you have a favorite bat model?
I've bounced around a lot from like Marucci and DeMarini. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been swinging a wood all winter, but I'm thinking about there's that new Louisville that all the college guys like, and then there's the Bone Saber. I don't know if you watched the Bat Bros.
Oh, I love him.
You've seen them.
Baseball Bat Bros, softball Bat Bros, they're awesome.
Yeah, no, they're great.
They're incredible.
So I see, all their ratings. So
yeah, it's really cool to have that out there.
One of those out, yeah.
What size bat are you using?
So 32.
32 right now?
Yeah, 32, 33. More 33.
Okay.
So,
and do you think it's beneficial for you using a wood in the off season?
I'd say so. I mean, just they're usually heavier.
Yeah, a little heavier.
I'll swing like a big old log, and then get down to what's comfortable for me. I've been swinging like something Justin gave me. It's like a Japanese pro stock.
Okay,
it's sweet.
His bat collection is really cool.
Oh yeah,
yes.
we had a wood bat tournament over the summer.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't really have any good wood bats.
What you got, Uncle Justin?
So I looked through my dad's, and then he brought over this he opened his truck bed. He's got like 20 back there.
Yeah,
and these things are just
immaculate,
sweet,
beautiful bats.
Yeah,
like Major League wood.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, I used to train with him, and he used to have an Avalanche truck back in the day. And he used to open that trunk, and it was just so much gear, so many bats, and he was always like, "Here, Blake, throw." Mm-hmm. I used to love getting some of those hand-me-downs. Do you use batting gloves?
Yeah. So Bruce Bolt.
Yeah, that's the thing these days, isn't it? Those last forever, right? They're supposed to.
Well, mine keep. I don't know what I'm.
You tearing them up?
Mine keep right where you get calluses is where I keep.
Where do you get calluses?
Just right on the base of my fingers.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Bruce Bolts were not around when I was playing, but they seem to be kind of like the rage now, right?
Yeah. I mean, they usually last me a season or half a season, but I mean they're expensive, so I try.
Those things run like $100, don't they?
Yeah, it's crazy. So that was my Christmas gift this year.
So. What are your thoughts on developing arm strength? And I guess we kind of touched this a little bit. Let me just ask that. I'm not going to ask the second part. What are your thoughts on developing arm strength? Are you like a long toss guy?
So yeah, definitely long toss, and then I do every morning in the weight room. Like with the football guys, I always find a time to mix in, arm weights in between sets. Just grab 2.5 plates or 5
do the rotator
plates.
cuff stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. I's, T's, and Y's.
How do you? People have different variations of long toss. How do you do it?
Kind of just work up to it. Really?
Like, I used to do it, I would always try to get with the guy who had a stronger arm than me, and we would try to, line it as long as we could. And then once it got to the point where you had to start getting some air under it, then really getting, some high kind of teardrop on it. What do you try to do? You trying to line it? Do you moonshot it?
So similar to that. I mean, it's usually just rocket it.
Yeah.
Keep it on a line, and then once you get I usually go foul pole to foul pole.
Yeah.
Is what I try to work up to.
Oh,
so I mean,
awesome.
Once you get there, you gotta put some air on it.
Yeah. Have you had any velo on your baseball stuff? Like
fastball wise, you mean?
Yeah. I mean,
I think this summer I got like one pitching appearance, and I think I was 84, 85.
Oh, nice.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'd like to see, what I could really hit.
Yeah.
But
how far can you throw a football?
I think my max is right at 60.
Yeah.
Probably.
Chucking it, man. And did it jump from, like freshman, sophomore to this year? You get stronger? You've seen it?
I felt the jump from sophomore to junior year for sure.
Yeah, there's some great highlights out there of you on the internet, and you already kind of talked about this, but we'll still cover it. Anything different with 2 strikes?
So yeah, not a whole lot. I'm already pretty wide, like I said, so I try not to choke up. I kind of just anything I can get a bat on.
Do you have a leg kick or a toe tap, or what's your timing?
So yeah, it's more of just wide and then kind of inch or 2 off the ground with the left foot and then just back down.
Where are you at in the batter's box? Up on it, on the plate, back?
Usually like probably a little bit up, kind of middle, take like probably a foot length up towards. So
okay.
But I do change my placement in the batter's box depending on, velocity of the pitcher and stuff like that.
Interesting. So. Who locally do you really enjoy competing against? It could be a team. It could be a guy, a player.
I mean, Rochester and SHG.
Yeah.
I feel like those are just the two big ones. And then player-wise, I mean, one of my good friends at Rochester, Jory Myron, he's, 3-hitter on the baseball team and then linebacker and H-back on the football team. So I see him pretty often.
Yeah. Did he get any shots on you in the last couple of years?
I don't think so, actually. Yeah, no. I mean, and when we played them in football for Rochester, he was primarily offense that game.
Okay.
So I didn't get to see him. But I do remember in baseball, he walks up to the plate, trying to get in his head when he's, swinging and stuff like that. But I think he went like 3 for 4 against us, though.
So it didn't work.
It did not work.
Okay, here we go. Have you dabbled in any sports psychology stuff? Are you reading any books, like mental skills type stuff?
So, yeah, I mean, my dad sends me a ton of clips.
Yeah.
So, of like, mental stuff, hitting stuff like that. And then I read this book, like Psycho-Cybernetics.
Okay.
Or something.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I read like half of it. I need to finish it. But just a lot of different, approaches and ways you should think about stuff.
I have a gift for you, my friend, and it is called The Mental Keys to Hitting, and this thing was the Bible to me coming up. And it really helped me as a hitter, and I've given this book away probably 10 times to up-and-coming baseball players, and I go out and buy another one until I give it to another person, but really meant a lot to me. Read it if you want to. There's also a post-game spread sticker in there for you.
Oh, awesome.
So that's for you, my man.
I'll definitely take a look.
Sure. Absolutely, man. But a lot of big leaguers think that is their gold standard, their hitting Bible. So really easy to read, too. So check it out sometime, my man.
Sure.
We already kind of touched on this a little bit. Are you hearing from colleges, and do you care to name any of them that have kind of reached out? Or
so, yeah, way? I mean, baseball-wise, more like JUCO. I feel like that's kind of the route now is, go to a Lincoln Land or something like that.
I heard they just changed the eligibility where now that doesn't even count.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Which is pretty awesome.
So you could go to Lincoln Land for 2 years and then go to a 4-year and play 4 more years. So 6 years of college baseball.
Yeah. I mean, it's intriguing. It's like, why wouldn't you go do that?
Yeah.
And then football-wise.
So you've heard from Lincoln Land?
Yes.
It's like, I'm sure you could just go there if you wanted.
And then football-wise, like at the top, probably like FCS schools. So like ISUs, the Ivy League, stuff like that.
Yeah. Cool. This is perfect timing. Because your mom just walked down here. Tell me about the role that your mom fills. It's so easy to talk about when we do these. It's obviously everyone thinks Jason's the one teaching you how to play baseball, throwing to you, playing catch, teaching the intricacies of hitting. But it's so easy to forget about mom and like the role that she fills. And I know Jason always gives a ton of respect to you and how you hold the household down. You've got 3 kids. Everyone's got different schedules. They're in different sports. You said she's meal prepping for you. She's the rock. She's the pillar. Tell me a little bit about the role that. Oh, I think Jason's called you the CEO of the K team. So.
I taught him how to tackle.
Yeah. So tell me about
Yeah,
Talk
I mean,
about all that your mom does.
like
here.
you
Let's
said,
give Mom some flowers.
Yeah, like you said, she's the rock, and you mentioned she had 3 kids. We consider my dad as the 4th sometimes. So, but I mean, yeah, she does everything for us from meal prepping, and one of the things I love the most about her is like the confidence building. Mm-hmm. She's always the one I go to after bad games.
Really,
just to kind of talk to you. She'll be honest with you. Yeah, and then mom's love.
Oh, mom's love. Was that so? Getting bounced out by East St. Louis, was that tough for you? Were you appreciative of the year you have? How did you look back on that?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely it was a sad moment. Just last game with those seniors.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, the first person I went to was my mom. Just gave her a hug, and then I mean, East St. Louis really just fired me up. Yeah, told me I got to work extra hard this offseason because
you get that. You won a state championship, right?
Yeah, we got to beat those guys.
What did Mom say to you?
Just proud of me. That's all she told me. Yeah, and it just means a lot.
That's so cool, man. Okay, what do you most love about football?
I would say the team aspect of it, because there's not a, if you have a big play, it's because everybody on the team more than likely did their job. But if incompletion happens or if I get sacked, missed tackle, that's because someone didn't do their job. But when all 11 players can do their job, things tend to go pretty well.
Love that. What do you most love about baseball?
I would say it's fun, really. I mean, it's just grew up playing it. It's a game where it's taken seriously, but I laugh a ton on the baseball field.
Really?
And it's just, I mean, I just really enjoy it. Team aspect of it too.
Yeah, cool. All right, this is a little trivia question here. You wear number 12, right, in football. Stepping into some big shoes, this guy was kind of a mentor to me and probably one of the greatest overall CS8 athletes ever. Who else wore number 12 at Chatham Glenwood quarterback?
Griff Juergens.
You know it.
I did.
Oh, man. He's actually going to be a guest at one point. Yeah.
Nice.
And I remember coming up and going to all those games, and you're rewriting all his record book at this point. Yeah. So, have you ever had any contact with him?
I have not. No,
not yet?
I don't think I've ever met him.
Man, I might have to have him send you a message or something from 112 to another. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a special athlete. Who's the funniest teammate baseball?
Funniest teammate in baseball?
Yeah.
So I would say last year, Crew Erickson.
Really?
Corey's kid.
I've heard he's a bit of a...
Oh, he's a goofball.
He's different, yeah.
He's great. And then...
In a good way.
Yeah. Going into this year, probably Blake Willen.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like leader of the student section. Yeah, he gets after. He's the guy that dresses up. He's the theme of the student section.
Okay.
So stuff like that.
Funniest teammate in football?
Oh, boy. The D-line. Just the whole defensive line.
They're just wild boys?
Yeah. Mekhi Banks, Jack Young, A.J. Ferguson. Jack and A.J. are 2 of my best friends, and those guys they're hilarious. So
right on. We got some Knoedlers circling us here. CJ just made an entrance in here, too. Do you have any specific goals? We're getting close to the end here. Any specific goals you want to accomplish before finishing your high school career?
State championship, whether it's baseball or football. Yeah. Preferably, both. That'd be amazing. But I feel like it's the greatest accomplishment I feel like you can get in high school. So,
are there any individual stats or goals that you have your eye on? Obviously, you've been breaking some records quarterback-wise. Is there anything you want to get?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
I mean, I'm more
motivated by that.
Yeah, I'm more focused on I feel like winning a state championship as a team that'd just be the coolest thing ever.
Well, that is the right answer. Good for you, buddy. Is there an ideal path for you moving forward baseball-wise? And I've kind of put question mark, Lincoln Land, Division I, Pro Ball.
So, if I do choose baseball over football, I think the path probably would be a JUCO route.
Really?
I've seen a ton of people succeed, my dad and my uncle.
Absolutely.
And then a ton of, the local guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
JUCO's the way. So the Matons.
Would that be Lincoln Land, or is there any chance that you could escape and go somewhere else?
I mean, I feel like Lincoln Land would be really, really cool.
Right. You couldn't do Parkland or something like that, right?
No.
Couldn't do that.
I mean, I could, but never know.
Okay. If your athletic career ended today, what would you most be proud of?
It's a tough one. I would say just the memories, really. I mean, I play sports first most because I just really enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun, and just the friendships I've made, you know, on the baseball field, on the football field, even on the basketball court, are, you know, stuff that I'm always going to cherish.
I love that. Well, I got a final question here for you, bud. This has been great. What does the K-Team hustle mean to you?
I mean, it means a lot. Been passed down, and I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just, you know, doing things the right way, and just the intensity of which you do things.
Yeah.
So.
And is that in you, or was that, you know, mom and dad, or?
I mean, I'd like to, you know, think it's just kind of born with it almost, but I feel like it's just been instilled in me from the whole family, not just my dad or not just my uncle, but everybody's just kind of got that do it the right way, like get it done kind of mentality. I
love that. And it sounds like people like to follow you as well. And all right, man, well, we're at the end of our questions here. How's this experience been for you?
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Not bad?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Oh, cool, man. I really appreciate you coming on. And like I said, I thought it would be cool to start reaching back into like some up-and-coming, you know, dudes that are on a trajectory, and you certainly fit that mold. So, you know, thank you for giving me your time and your thoughts. And, you know, the post-game spread, we have a lot of guests coming up here for the future. Some guys, some names here. Walt Patton, Colt Daly, Mitch Trees, Ben Hartle, Griff Juergens, Cale Henneman, Jamie Stash, Javier Gamboa, Ben Johnson, Derek Shaman, Eric Easley, Daniel Calhoun. These are all names that are going to be up and coming here. So, again, Colt, thank you for your time, brother. It's been an absolute honor. I think it might be cool to look back, you know, however your career takes you, whether it's professionally, collegiately, to look back and kind of see where you were at mentally right as it kind of like started to blow up. So, again, thank you for your time, brother. And post-game spread, we're out. Do you have anything you want to say before we go?
Just thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, cool. All right, we're out of here.